Once upon a time, in a forest filled with towering trees and chirping birds, lived a little squirrel named Nina. Now Nina was a busy squirrel. She loved nothing more than hopping from tree to tree, leaping over logs, and gathering all the shiny acorns she could find. Her cheeks would bulge with her treasures, and her tail would fluff up like a bottle brush as she scampered up a tree to hide them. One crisp autumn morning, as Nina was scampering about, she noticed a big change in her forest. All the leaves were turning brilliant shades of gold and red, and were falling to the ground in a gentle rain. But there was something else that made her stop in her tracks. Perched on a branch not far away was Ally the owl, and he wasn't looking his usual happy self. In fact, he looked downright sad. "Hey, Ally!" Nina called out, tilting her head. "What's wrong?" She had never seen him without his usual bright and cheerful eyes. Ally let out a big sigh, and Nina noticed that he was all alone. Usually he would be surrounded by his owlet babies, but where were they? Suddenly, it hit her. The big storm from last night must have blown them all away. Without a second thought, Nina scurried down the tree and over to Ally. "I know how you feel," she said sympathetically. "The wind knocked my nest apart last night, too, but I found lots of stuff to make a new one. I bet I can make you a new nest, then your babies can come back and snuggle with you while you hoot at the moon."
"Oh, Nina," Ollie said, blinking his big round eyes.
"That would be wonderful, but I don't have a nest full of twigs and leaves like you do. I just have feathers." "Don't worry, Ollie," Nina said, already scampering off to find materials to build a new nest. "I'll bring the sticks. You bring the feathers. We'll make the best nest in the whole forest for your babies." And that's exactly what they did. Nina gathered long, sturdy twigs to make the base of the nest, and Ally brought soft, downy feathers to line it. Soon, the nest was taking shape, and Nina could see just how tired Ally was getting. "Here, Ollie," she said. "Take a break. You can watch me finish the nest." But Ollie shook his head. "No, I want to help. I want my babies to have a nice home before it gets dark." So he kept bringing feathers to the nest, fluffing them up to keep his babies warm. Finally, after what seemed like hours, the nest was finished. It was big and sturdy and smelled like fresh leaves and pine needles. But as they were taking a quick peek inside to make sure it was good and cozy, Nina noticed something. Ollie," she said gently, "where are you going to put this nest?" He hadn't said anything about where his old nest had been, and she couldn't imagine him living in a tree without a proper nest to sleep in. Ally looked at the ground below him. I forgot," he said quietly. "The wind blew my tree to pieces. I was so worried about my babies that I didn't think about where we would go." Nina gasped. She had known that the storm had been strong, but she hadn't realized that it had destroyed Ollie's tree. She thought for a moment. Then she said, "Well, there's no time like the present. Let's go find you a new tree." And so they did. With Nina leading the way and Ally following close behind, they searched for the perfect tree to replace his old one. Finally, they came across a big oak tree with thick branches and lots of leaves. It was the perfect home for an owl family. Together, Nina and Ollie built a new nest high up in the branches. It was even better than his last one, because now he could hoot at the moon with his babies and watch the golden leaves drift down around them. As the sun began to set, Nina said, "Well, it's getting dark. I should head home." "Wait," said Ollie. "You haven't had dinner? How about some yummy field mice?" Nina happily munched on the juicy plump mice as she talked to Ally about all the things they would do next. When they finally said goodbye, both Nina and Ollie felt very different from when they had first met. Not only did Nina have a new friend, but she had learned the importance of helping others. And Ally, well, he had a new appreciation for his clever friend who had helped him through such a tough time. As Nina hopped away, she couldn't help but smile. Making new friends and helping others always made her heart sing.